Hi, let's go over a small little lecture in chapter one, the introduction. There are some things we want to level set for the class, as well as talk about some theories that are relevant in this chapter. So just to level set for the class, the periods of development that we're talking about. So this class is actually conception to death. And so we want to name that. So prenatal is conception to birth. Infancy is once the child is born, it's birth to age 2. Early child is age 2 to 6. Middle childhood is 6 to puberty, which is around anywhere from 11 to 13 generally. Adolescence is from that age to 18. Emerging adulthood, 18 to 25 years old. Early adulthood, 25 to 40 or 45. And then middle adulthood is 40, 45 to 60, 65. And late adulthood is age 65 and older. So some of the theories we're going to go over. So some of them are historical theories, which we don't put a lot of credence in to this day. But the very first one that we know of about development was preformationism, and this was kind of the belief that a fully formed human was just kind of placed in the woman's belly because they didn't have a lot of science back then, and they grow in size until birth. So it's implanted in the sperm or the egg, and then it grew into an adult. So it assumes that infants are born with everything they need, all capabilities intact. And so when we talk about nature versus nurture, this one is completely nature. There's no nurture involved. The next one is tabula rasa, which is blank slate. And John Locke came up with this theory. And his theory is now nurture, that it's completely, a child's mind is completely shaped by the environment that the child is in. So every early experience is important and makes them become the person they are today, that genetics don't play any role in this. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's theory is that development occurs on a biological timetable. So children should be allowed to develop naturally. It's an unfolding, is what he called it, that children unfold at their own time periods. Maturational theory. This is Arnold Giselle, I believe in the 50s. He came up with this theory. He believed that development occurred in fixed sequences. And so we kind of see this today in a lot of our ages and stages when you go to the doctor with a child, a well baby checkup. They do want to know, are they crawling at this age? Are they rolling at this age? Are they walking? And so that's really from the maturation theory that development occurs in these fixed sequences. Freud's psychosocial theory. So Freud, he believed that we had these bad biological instincts and that to turn them into socially acceptable behaviors, we needed to kind of resolve a conflict. Early experiences are super important for children in later life. Erikson, now these are in contemporary theories of development. So Erikson actually studied under Anna Freud, Sigmund Freud's daughter, and he kind of took what Freud talked about and developed it even further into, and kind of took a lot of the sexuality part of Freud's um, theory out of it, but he made it into the 8 stages of mankind, which we'll talk about in a minute. Each period of life has a unique challenge or crisis that has to be managed, that the child is going through or the person is going through. And then resolution or non-resolution of early crises may affect later crises. Learning theory is behaviorism. We see this a lot in classrooms. this is trying to get people to change behaviors based on either a reward, a punishment, shame, uh, any of those kind of things. So going back to Erickson's psychosocial stages, we're not going to go through all of them, but these are the 8 stages that he has come up with. You can see it kind of follows along the lines of what we talked about the very first slide, the periods of development that we're going to be talking about. But the very first one is trust versus mistrust. And this is why we actually say today that if a baby's crying, a baby under 1.5, if the baby's crying, they don't have language yet. That is their language. They're telling you that they're uncomfortable, they're sad, they're hungry, they're tired, they want love. This is when they're actually developing fear, ideas about the world and the world that they were born into. Do they trust this world? Is the world a trustworthy place, or is it not? So that's our kind of, that's the crisis that they are in at that period. The second age is 18 months to 3. And if you think about that age, that's the toddler age where they're, a child is saying no a lot. The 2-year-olds, what they're also learning during this time is a lot of times potty training. And so they have autonomy versus shame and doubt. So the child is always trying to do something on their own. I'll do it myself. I can do it myself. I want to put my own coat on. If the adult in that relationship says, you can't do that, you can't do that, you're not old enough, that is putting shame and doubt into their autonomy. So this is important at this age to give them a lot of autonomy as much as you can without obviously them hurting themselves. Social learning theory. I'm going to put this Bobo doll video after this lecture. You can click on that through that, or you can look at it through our large PowerPoint. But this actually is a really interesting study. If you haven't seen the Bobo doll video before, it's 4 minutes. It's super interesting. And it's about how we learn things about the world through watching others and imitating others. And we see this a lot in social media now. We're seeing this happening in real time. Piaget's cognitive theory. This is, again, not really in ages and stages. It's more about maturation. So maturing children will get through these stages as they mature and their thinking changes. And his theory is fascinating. We'll look at it a little bit. Lev Vygotsky, sociocultural theory. He's kind of one of the first ones that put a lot of culture. Our culture really affects who we are as people. Going into Piaget's stages of cognitive development, you can see those there. My favorite is pre-operational stage, and we'll see some videos of that in early childhood in the class. But it's the things that they go through the stages. So sensory motor at the first stage, it's a lot of reflex. They are learning object permanence during that. That's what they're going to attain during that period. And object permanence is knowing that something is there even though they can't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. And then the last theory is the information processing theory. And this is kind of more brain-based. So we haven't had a lot of talking about the brain and how that has, how we have this computer basically that is noticing everything out there, retrieving information, storing information in our brain, and helping us develop and bring out that information at a later time. That is it for chapter 1.